Bonjour and welcome. Today we are going to talk about international SEO and more specifically about local-adaptive pages. A page is local-adaptive when for the same URL the language is adapted based either on the accept language HTTP request header or on the perceived location, the IP address. Historically, Google was unable to understand local-adaptive pages, as the requests made by Googlebot were coming from US-based IP addresses and did not include an accept language header. Well, this changed. In January this year, Google announced its new local-aware crawling configuration. Googlebot can now make requests using international IP addresses and can include accept language headers set to different languages. This is definitely good news for local-adaptive pages, as the different variation can now be crawled, indexed, and can rank accordingly in the different language country-specific versions of Google. It's important to say that Google still recommends to use separate URLs with hreflang annotations. Now, for local-adaptive pages, how you, as an SEO or webmaster, check if those pages are working properly. Well, you can change the settings of your browser to send different accept language headers, let's say French instead of English, or you can use a proxy to make the request from outside of the US. Or, if you want to save some time, you can use the tool that we developed, a local-adaptive pages testing tool. It's really easy to use. You put the URL in the field, you choose the languages you want to test the page for, and you run the test. You can also choose Googlebot or BingBot as the user agent and use the proxy feature to make the request from outside of the US. The tool will request the page as many times as the number of languages you chose, and will compare the source code of each response. If for one of the response you get a yes in the third column, that means that the source code is different than for the first response. This doesn't mean that the page is translated. So to make the tool more useful, we've included the page title, the meta description, as well as the H1 for each response. On top of that, we're using a language detection API that will scan the content of the page and return the detected language. All of this should give you a pretty good idea of whether the page is local-adaptive or not. That's it. Thank you for listening. Feel free to use the comment to ask questions. We'll be happy to answer them. Et merci, à bientôt.